Welcome back, everybody, to the AFK podcast. I am your host, Afro Black, coming at y'all with yet another episode with my usual co-host, Mr. Markov's Portrait. Say hello to the people.
Hey,
Hey. I am hella behind on what the hell's going on because due to random circumstances, we haven't really been able to do this for about a month and a half. So it's good to be back. We have I have found a handful of articles from all the ones that you've put, Carter, but I didn't know if you wanted to go over any specifically first.
we can just go through and see what we got.
Fair enough. Okay, so oh fuck, that's the wrong one. Was in here? No, I don't care. There we go. Okay, so this article was produced almost 2 weeks ago. It looks like. The Overwatch League is officially dead. Activision Blizzard is transitioning away from its groundbreaking esports league as teams reportedly vote to withdraw. Earlier this year, Blizzard expressed doubt about the long-term future of the Overwatch League and said its efforts to maintain the city-based pro esports league may prove unsuccessful. That has turned out to be the case, as Activision confirmed today that the Overwatch League is as we know it is finished. Announced in 2016, the league was a groundbreaking idea modeled after conventional pro sports leagues. City-based teams would compete in seasonal home and away matches, eventually leading into a playoff series and world championship. But higher startup costs, initial base franchise fees were reportedly $20 million. Um, Contributed to a slow start, and just a couple years after it went live, the league was battered by the COVID-19 pandemic, which quashed its live spectator ambitions. The situation took a turn for the worse in 2021 following allegations of all the widespread discrimination and sexual misconduct at Blizzard, which led major sponsors to end their support for the league. The loss of a publishing partner in China, a situation that still hasn't been rectified, only added to the woes. Activision acknowledged in a May filing with the SEC that it faced headwinds that are negatively impacting the operations and potentially the longevity of the Overwatch League, and that efforts to address them could result in significant loss or significant costs and may prove unsuccessful. A month later, the company said in a quarterly financial report at the end of the current Overwatch League season, teams would vote on an amended operating agreement, and that if it did not vote to continue operating under the new terms, each team would receive a termination fee of $6 million, and that would be the end of it. And that's how it went. Earlier today, the Toronto Defiant, via GG Recon, announced its departure from the Overwatch League. We extend our deepest thanks to the league, its fans, and the community for their unwavering support. Adam Adamo, co-founder and interim CEO of Defiant owner Overactive Media, said in a statement, Toronto Defiant has proudly competed under the league's banner, and we've built incredible memories together. Following the statement, the esports advocate reported that a majority of the teams have voted to exit the league. Other teams have not yet made formal announcements for their departure, but hinted at things happening. How do you feel about that, Carter? Are you surprised? I can't say I am.
Now it's a dead game from a dying studio.
Quite true. Game shit, studio shit, studios ethics shit, publisher shit. It's all of it shit. Ain't that right, Carter? Just all shit.
Sure, I mean, if you want to be completely pessimistic.
All right, then tell me some positive things about the league.
I mean, about the league, no, but I mean, Overwatch 2 was like, it's not a game that needs to exist, but I mean, they could definitely be putting in some more effort to try and make it a playable game, and they're just not doing it currently.
Honestly, I haven't heard too much on Overwatch 2.
Yeah, there was a new hero posted. There's a new hero that got announced. I believe he's a new tank character, but he looks kind of mid from what people have been saying.
Mid as in not the best gameplay, or mid as in it doesn't seem very impactful.
Both.
I see. Well, hopefully they listen to their peoples then this time around.
They won't.
I mean, listen, I'm trying to be not pessimistic here, okay?
Yeah, it's Blizzard though.
But yeah, I don't really have much to say on that. I can't really say I'm surprised that the esports side of Overwatch is dying because, as we just discussed, games kind of dying. There's not really much there for potential sponsors to really want to stay. And on top of that, Blizzard hasn't really done themselves any favors by not really addressing the lawsuits that they've been getting about office behaviors, we'll say. They have not been treating that very well and have been just trying to sweep it under the rug for the most part. So maybe if they miraculously change something in Overwatch 2 and bring back viewership or bring back players, then it could be different. But not right now. Can definitely say that right now.
Yeah.
Moving on to the next article. Disney confirms plan for reduced theatrical releases to strengthen creative output. Um, let's see here. To some, Disney has become synonymous with the movie world, especially thanks to franchises like Star Wars, the MCU, Pixar, and even more. Even then, some of the studio's recent projects have been subject to criticism and lower box office performances, but it sounds like the company has plans to right the ship. During the company's recent quarterly earnings call, Disney CEO Bob Iger revealed that he will have a more day-to-day involvement in the studio's theatrical slate to ensure that the upcoming projects are all as well executed as possible. Next is the need to strengthen creative output for our film studio, which generates value throughout the entire company, he says. To achieve this, we are focusing heavily on the core brands and franchises that fuel all of our businesses and reducing output overall to enable us to concentrate on fewer projects and improve quality while continuing our efforts around the creation of fresh and compelling original IPs. Um, I'm devoting considerable more of my a considerably more. I'm sick. Oh, Jesus fucking Christ! I can't speak. Oh, it's been too long to do this. Okay. I'm devoting considerably more of my time to this with the goal of improving returns, always seeking to exceed the level of creative excellence audiences expect from Disney. Meanwhile, we have four of the top 10 highest grossing films at the global box office this year, including Pixar's Elemental, which has grossed nearly $500 million worldwide, in addition to being the most viewed film released this year on Disney Plus. Iger also spoke about Disney's place in the recent movie market, especially in the aftermath of the COVID-19 pandemic. Recently, we did have four really strong titles, and for the top 10 in the past year, led by Avatar: The Way of the Water, of course. But there were other successes too. Iger continued, that said, as I looked at our overall output, it's clear that the pandemic created a lot of challenges creatively for everybody, including us. In addition, at the time the pandemic hit, we were leaning into a huge increase in how much we were making, and I've always felt that the quantity can be actually a negative when it comes to quality. I think that's exactly what happened. We lost focus, and so working with the talented team at the studio, we're looking to and working to consolidate, meaning make less, focus more on quality. How you feel about that, Carter?
Well, if they can commit to it, it'll be fine. But they need to figure something out because it's not been a good year for them critically. Um, the Marvels is kind of a flop right now, both critically and commercially. The whole MCU is kind of up in the fucking air right now, which is an article we'll get into in a bit. Um, as far as where that is currently steering, their in-house stuff. I mean, like Pixar stuff, like whether or not people will like it as much as their classics, like people are still gonna go see it because it's a Pixar movie. Um, but as far as like Disney stuff, like I honestly like just the regular Disney animated movies. I've struggled to think of the last time I have wanted to see one. Not that I've ever been a huge Disney fan anyway, but I mean, like they've got that one that just came out for their 100th anniversary as a studio, and like I honestly didn't even know it had come out until like 2 weeks after it started to show in theaters.
I didn't even know that was a
It's called
thing.
Wish. It's called like Wish or something.
Yep, never heard of it.
Yeah.
Jesus. I don't even think they've had a they haven't had a hold on. Is the only successful MCU movie this year Guardians of the Galaxy then?
It would be the most successful one so far this year.
No. Sounds about right. The rest of them flopped. Wait, no, because
How many
Wakanda
people went
Forever
and
came
saw
out.
Ant-Man? That was last year.
That was like, oh, well, shit.
That was this time last year.
Jesus. Then yeah. I'm pretty sure Quantum Mania that didn't that flop too? Like royally?
Uh, Critically, but I mean, like, people went and saw it, but that was also the point where people just stopped giving a shit. So,
Hmm. Yeah. And then like you said, the Marvels, I haven't heard anything great about that. I've heard that the one woman that plays Captain Marvel, she's honestly debating on whether or not she even wants to come back anymore.
oh no, Brie Larson's gonna be back. She's already said she's not going anywhere.
Oh, all right, never mind then.
And the gal that they've got playing, I always get her name wrong, so I won't even try to pronounce it. But the gal that's playing Miss Marvel, she does a pretty good job. I can tell her heart's in it, but God, they're not giving her anything damn to work with.
That's fair. I remember seeing an interview saying that she loved playing the character. So
Oh yeah, no, like she's been the most passionate person they've had out of this new era.
yeah,
Actually read all of the comics and shit. So
that is true. So I don't know. I don't necessarily want the MCU to die out because obviously seeing live action versions of the comics and the characters I grew up with is pretty cool. But it doesn't exactly make me want it to stay around per se when I keep seeing the direction that it's going in. Just in quality mainly. It's just
yeah,
sad.
it's been a pretty mixed bag because then there's shit like Loki season 2, which is phenomenal, and it cemented Loki as being the best character in the MCU. I'll say it.
Goddamn. You'll die on that
And
hill,
that is
Carter.
something that I will.
All
He's
right.
got the best character arc by a giant fucking margin.
Goddamn.
Um, Loki season 2 is phenomenal. You can watch season 1 and 2 and be like completely removed from the MCU that's going on currently, as long as you know what happened to him, and even if you don't know what happened to him in Endgame, they recap that right at the beginning as well. So,
There we go. Perfect. Yeah. So, um, all I can say is like Carter's. All I can say is that I agree with Carter to where if they do actually stick to their word and they slow the fuck down on the amount of shit they're trying to pump out and just like try to hone in and work on a handful at a time, I think it'll improve the quality all around. But that's assuming that they don't get greedy, like they're kind of infamous for, and just do it regardless. So we'll have to wait and see what happens.
yeah, especially in light of some recent shit.
Which you'll have to tell us about. Um,
Yeah.
moving on to the next little. I guess it's not really an article. It's just more like. Oh wait. Do you have the Indie World Showcase like highlights for Nintendo?
Oh, I forgot to grab them, but
Here, I can
I'll
grab it really
go for it.
quick.
Okay.
Oops. Oh, Indie World. Whoops. Showcase. Okay, here we go. Okay, so all the announcements from Nintendo's Fall Nintendo or Indie World event. Although the year is coming to a close, Nintendo's sneaking in another Indie World showcase to highlight all the smaller titles coming to the Switch later this year and into 2024. Um, let's see. So the first one we got is Blade Chimera. Looks like a really cool future punk Castlevania. In it, you wield your Lumina blade, a demon transformed into a sword that can slash enemies and transform into anything from a grappling hook to an escalator to get to those hard to reach places. Launches as a Switch timed exclusive in spring next year. We got the star named Eos, first person shooter, or not first person shooter, first person puzzle slash exploration game with what looks to be like a big focus on memories as experienced through photos. The game hits on Switch also in spring of next year. Let's see here. Moonstone Island is one of the coziest and cutest games I saw at GDC 2023 and is coming to the Switch as a timed exclusive. The game's a deck builder Pokemon like mixed with the chill social and simulation elements of Stardew Valley. Become a world renowned alchemist with the help of creatures you meet and tame in a procedurally generated world where you can grow plants for your potions, decorate your home, and fall in love. No firm release date yet, but expect Moonstone Island to launch on the Switch also in spring of next year. Um, let's see here. On Your Tail feels like the kind of investigative game where you'll really want to investigate primarily because of how charming the world looks. Not clear why all of the characters are animals, but you'll be able to solve that mystery as well when the game drops in 2024. Next up, we got Planet of Lana, an atmospheric platformer debuted on the Xbox and PC earlier this year, but it'll soon make its way to both the Switch and PlayStation sometime next spring. We got Outer Wilds Archaeologist Edition. Will let you solve the riddle of cosmic recurrence through clever puzzles strewn throughout an always changing environment. Will feature Outer Worlds base game and its expansion Echoes of the Eye. If you're so inclined, grab a pre-order. They are available now or wait till the game launches officially on the 7th of December. Braid Anniversary Edition is coming next year. Let's see here. Death Trick, um, Double Blind, and it mixes up a visual novel with a more investigative elements. Also, it takes place at a circus. Launches next year, but a demo is available on the Switch as of this article, which was published about 5 days ago. We got Highland Song, um, mixing exploration, rhythm, and folklore into one cozy package. Now the game has its release date, which will be next month on the 5th. We got Shantae, Advanced Risky Revolution, which is coming soon to the Nintendo Switch. Originally, this game was meant to be a sequel to the first Shantae game, launched on the Game Boy Color in 2002, but was canceled before completion. WayForward Games, developers of the Shantae series, always wanted to finish the game and held on to that idea for 22 years until now. Risky Revolution will bring a long lost game to life with new features, including a 4-player battle mode. We got Backpack Hero. It's a roguelike where the goal is to arrange your gear just right to unleash their true potential. It looks like just a thing for Mary Kondo aficionados. It might be the only RPG I've seen that boasts unique backpack powers. It's also launching later today on the Switch shop, which was on the 14th. We got Howl, turn-based folk tale game set in a world ravaged by a sound-based plague. It will be available on the Switch later today, which once again is on the 14th. We got Core Keeper, co-op exploration game launching next summer, and it promises a little bit of everything: mining, farming, base building, and ancient creatures to battle. And that looks to be it. Carter, are you looking forward to any of these?
Yeah, quite a few. Outer Wilds, if you haven't played it, I refuse to spoil it because it is a game that is best to go in blind on. It is fantastic. One of the best indie games I've played in the last few years. It's got a very Majora's Mask type gameplay loop to it, and that is as far as I will get into that. Um, if you have any interest in it based on the trailer, I would absolutely go into that, knowing nothing more than that, because it's such a well done story, and the characters are so good. It's so underrated. I hope this helps it get the attention it deserves.
Fair enough.
Shantae is going to be hype. Shantae's always been, I don't want to say always, because the past few years she's kind of had a resurgence in the indie sphere. But it's always been more underrated as far as like platformer, mascot platformers go. Um, they're always really good. I'm excited to see that not only are we getting another one, but it's one that was seemingly lost to time. And then Backpack Hero is pretty rad if you are like me and you enjoy the inventory management system of Resident Evil 4. That is what that game was based on. Was just having a game devoted to being nothing but a puzzle game version of that. Um, it's super fun, super relaxing.
I see. I see.
Beyond that, there wasn't too much that caught my eye. No, those are the big ones for me. Oh, Core Keeper. Core Keeper's pretty rad. Um, it's kind of like a more fleshed out version of the dungeon crawling aspects of Stardew Valley, which I know me saying those are more fleshed out isn't necessarily a ton of praise because they're pretty meat and potatoes, which is fine because that's not why people play Stardew Valley. But it's a more robust version of the whole underground system there. I haven't played it with friends because none of my friends have it, but it's definitely a game that's more geared towards like a co-op session. So if you know anyone that might be interested, I'd get them on board with that now because it's a pretty fun time.
I see. Okay.
It's on Steam right now, so.
God damn. Let's get it. But yeah. I personally have not heard of any of these games except for I think Core Keeper and Outer Wilds. I've heard pretty good things about Outer Wilds, not even just from Carter, but other people that have played it, or people have played it on stream. They've just mentioned that they liked it. Um, but I guess we'll have to see whether or not they are flops. Which honestly, I don't think Nintendo Switch really has a lot of indie games that flop. So.
Mm, I mean, like the big names, like the games that they showed off will be fine because there's some degree of quality control. Otherwise, they wouldn't be showing them off.
Fair.
But there is a lot of garbage. There is like a Wii level of garbage on the Switch eShop.
Oof. Now that's rough.
So
Um, I am kind of hesitant to say that Double Blind will be a success, though. I don't know. Just doesn't seem like a game that would be really popular on the Switch. But I could be wrong.
yeah, there's a lot of games that end up being sleeper hits from being on that console.
Fair enough. I guess
Does it? But
I will stand corrected then. Another little quick snippet. Game of the Year candidates. I don't know. I'm assuming this is still eligible to be voted on.
yes, voting for the Game Awards went live. Um, that should take you to the voting sections. Well, not necessarily the voting sections, but it should let you scroll through all of the categories that they have.
Okay. Fair enough. Fair enough. But yeah, you can do that. Game of the Year candidates are Marvel Spider-Man 2, Baldur's Gate 3, Alan Wake 2, Resident Evil 4, Super Mario Bros. Wonder, and Legend of Zelda: Tears of the Kingdom. Best game direction is basically all of those games that I just mentioned. Best narrative is going to be Alan Wake 2, Baldur's Gate 3, Cyberpunk Phantom Liberty, which I still need to play through, Final Fantasy 16, which honestly I heard was a pretty fun game, and then Marvel Spider-Man 2. Best art direction is going to be Alan Wake 2, Hi-Fi Rush, Lies of P, Super Mario Brothers Wonder, and Tears of the Kingdom. Best score and music is going to be Alan Wake 2, Baldur's Gate 3, Final Fantasy 16, Hi-Fi Rush, and then Tears of the Kingdom. Best audio design is going to be the remake of Dead Space, Alan Wake 2, Hi-Fi Rush, Spider-Man 2, and Resident Evil 4. Best performance is going to be Ben Starr from Final Fantasy 16, Cameron Monaghan from Jedi Survivor, Idris Elba from Phantom Liberty, Melanie Libbard from Alan Wake 2, Neil Newbin from Baldur's Gate 3, and Yuri Lowenthal from Spider-Man 2. Innovation in innovation in accessibility, which is going to be Diablo 4, Forza Motorsport, Hi-Fi Rush, Spider-Man 2, Mortal Kombat 1, and Street Fighter 6. Games for impact are going to be A Space for the Unbound, Chance of Sonar, Goodbye Volcano High, Chia, Terra Nil, and Venba. Best ongoing is going to be Final Fantasy 14, Fortnite, Genshin Impact, Cyberpunk 2077, and Apex Legends. I'm actually curious, which one do you think is going to be winning this one, Carter? So those are some strong contenders.
Honestly, Final Fantasy 14. I don't think there's anything that's coming close to that game
The ones that
in
came to
terms of
mind
live
for me,
service.
the games that came to mind for me were 14 and Fortnite.
Yeah, maybe Fortnite, but like I don't know. Like Final Fantasy 14 has such a fucking dedicated voter base or like fan base that I feel like they'll champion that pretty hard. And honestly, when the time comes, that'll probably be my vote because it just does. I don't even play the game, and like the amount of shit that they do for their community is like enough to make me. I'm strongly considering when I'm done doing this whole play thing that I'm directing. I'm considering getting a 60-day to see what it's about.
Goddamn. Okay, fair enough.
Definitely
Um,
need something to tie me over for Persona 3.
Oh, speaking of community support, best community support. Baldur's Gate 3, Cyberpunk 2077, Destiny 2, that's going to be dead last. Final Fantasy 14, and No Man's Sky.
God damn,
That
that'll
one's
be a tough
tough.
one.
That's
I
tough.
If you guys listen, you know how much I champion No Man's Sky.
That's what I'm
So
saying, bro. I don't even play the game anymore, and I respect their developers. The amount of content that they shovel out for free is just fucking insane.
no
Destiny 2
fucking
should be in
kidding.
the loser's queue of this fucking.
Well, that category is strictly for like best community, which I don't know anything about the Destiny 2 community, but
It's kind of hit or miss.
yeah,
Whenever
it's not necessarily like a where are the devs at type thing.
when Matthew and I used to do raids with random people, half the time we got raid groups that at least half of them were super fucking toxic for absolutely no reason.
Oh, I'm sure.
Literally just one raid wipe and they'd either AFK or freak the fuck out.
Yeah.
It's funny though. Moving on to the next category, which is going to be best independent game. Cocoon, Dave the Diver, Dredge,
Ugh.
Sea of Stars, and Viewfinder. I know none of those.
That's such a fucking hard lineup. Sea of Stars is the one that I nerded about came out. It's set in the same universe as The Messenger, which is a fantastic indie game. But instead of being a 2D platformer Metroidvania, like Risk of Rain is, it is instead a full-blown traditional JRPG. Um, Fantastic pixel art, wonderful characters from what I have seen. I haven't beaten it yet. Great music, just a phenomenal game for people who like classic Super Nintendo era RPGs.
Oh, okay.
Um, Dave the Diver kicks fucking ass. It is part fishing sim, part cooking sim, part like it does a little bit of everything, and it does it all really well. Um, Super fantastic pixel art again. Like the art direction in that game is top tier. Um, Dredge I have not played yet, but it is on the top of my indie game list right now to play. It is also a fishing game like Dave the Diver, but unlike Dave the Diver, it goes for a Lovecraftian horror approach.
Beautiful.
And then the other ones, yeah, I'm not as certain on, but it was such a cool fucking year for indie games. All of those came out like the first half of the year.
Jesus.
Dave the Diver was in early access for like 3 years before it finally launched. It's
Goddamn.
finally like fully out this year. It's on Steam and Switch now, and I think they're in talks for the other consoles as well. Um, but no, it's great.
So what you're saying is Dredge is the perfect game for you to play.
Um, See, that's the thing. I need to watch a little bit more on Dread, see if it's something that I should play. I was more so talking about Dave the Diver in case I misspoke. Um, Dredge, I am not sure about because fishing freaks me out a little bit. Like the way Dave the Diver presents it is fine and like over the top and cartoony enough that it makes me laugh and it doesn't freak me out because I have a terrifying fear or like a very strong fear of the ocean. Um, so I don't know how playing a game that explores the Lovecraftian horror side of that is going to sit with me mentally. Um, I need to watch a little bit more on it. I've watched like the beginning, like the first hour, and it's really subdued. It doesn't really put its cards on the table right away. Like it builds up, like all good Lovecraftian horror does anyway. But I need to watch at least enough of it to know that it's something that I can stomach before I go as far as putting money down on it. For me personally, it's obviously it's a fantastic game. It's up for a fucking indie game of the year. But yeah, I don't know. We'll see.
Fair enough.
For me,
I remember hearing vaguely of Sea of Stars, but I think you just mentioned it in passing, and that was the last thing I heard. But
yeah.
um, let's see here. Moving on to the next category. Best debut indie game is going to be Cocoon, Dredge, Pizza Tower, Venba, and Viewfinder.
God, I hope Pizza Tower gets it. It's such a good fucking game, dude.
Let's see here. Best mobile game is going to be Final Fantasy VII Ever Crisis, Hello Kitty Island Adventure, Honkai Star Rail, Monster Hunter Now, and Terra Nil. It's probably going to come down to Star Rail or Monster Hunter, in all honesty. More than likely
I
Star Rail.
imagine. I imagine that'll get it. Yep.
Best VR/AR experience: Gran Turismo 7, Horizon Call of the Mountain, Humanity, Resident Evil Village VR mode, and Synapse. Best action game is going to be Marvel or Armor Core 7 Fires of Rubicon, Dead Island 2, Ghost Runner 2, Hi-Fi Rush, and Remnant 2. I got a feeling it's going to come down to either Armored Core or Remnant. That would just be my guess.
I think FromSoft fans are going to show up again this year.
Yeah. And honestly, I can't say that Armored Core doesn't deserve it because the game is fun as shit.
Yeah, I need to play that. There's so many fucking games. I'm going to be doing so much of my backlog for this year going into next year.
True. Think of all the activities you're going to be able to do once your play is over, dude.
I know, I'm kind of pumped. Not that I don't love what I'm doing over there, but
I'd really hope so if you're putting that many hours into it.
yeah, that's fair.
Best action/adventure game is going to be between Alan Wake 2, Spider-Man 2, Resident Evil 4, Jedi Survivor, and Tears of the Kingdom. Best RPG is going to be Baldur's Gate 3, Final Fantasy 16, Lies of P, Sea of Stars, and Starfield. I honestly think Lies of P is probably going to win that. Well, it'll be Lies of P or Baldur's Gate 3. Those are my guesses.
Those would be the ones I would like. We'll see what happens.
Best fighting game: God of Rock, Mortal Kombat 1, Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl 2, Pocket Bravery, and Street Fighter 6. I assume that either Mortal Kombat or Street Fighter is going to win. More than likely, Street Fighter. Best family game.
Probably.
Disney Illusion Island, Party Animals, Pikmin 4, Sonic Superstars, and Super Mario Brothers Wonder. Mario Brothers is probably taking that home.
Yeah, probably.
Best simulation slash strategy game: Advanced Wars 1 plus 2 Reboot Camp, Cities Skylines 2, Company of Heroes 3, Fire Emblem Engage, and Pikmin 4. My guess is either Company of Heroes 3 or Fire Emblem Engage.
I don't know, man. Advanced Wars is pretty fucking good.
See, now the game looks familiar, but I might be thinking of a different game that I played on GameCube.
I mean, there was a GameCube.
Maybe I did have it. I don't remember.
I mean, Advanced Wars 1 and 2 is
That's fair.
the first two GBA games. But, yeah, I'm pretty sure they also had a GameCube release.
Um, let's see here. Best sports slash racing game. Um, EA Sports Football Club 24, F1 23, Forza Motorsport, Hot Wheels Unleashed 2, or The Crew Motorfest. My guess is either
Haven't
going to
even
be
played it
Forza.
yet, and I want it to be Hot Wheels.
That's
But
fair. Yeah, I already knew you were going to go for that. My guess is going to be either Forza Motorsport or Hot Wheels. I'll put some faith into it.
hell yeah.
Best
Oh
multiplayer.
god, that game came out, and I don't even know how it reviewed.
Fair. Best multiplayer game. Baldur's Gate 3, Diablo 4, Party Animals, Street Fighter 6, and Super Mario Brothers Wonder. Oh shit. Who would I vote for? Either Party Animals or Baldur's Gate 3 for me.
Baldur's Gate's gonna sweep this year.
Um, let's see. Best adaptation. Castlevania Nocturne, Gran Turismo, Last of Us. Okay, I don't have to say anything more. Last of Us 1.
Yeah,
Um,
probably.
yeah, it's just like the other two is the Mario movie and Twisted Metal, but I'm sorry, Last of Us is taking that home. My second up would probably be Nocturne because that Castlevania Nocturne was pretty fire. I'm not gonna lie,
So I hear. I haven't watched it yet.
it's pretty good. Most anticipated game: Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, Hades 2, Like a Dragon: Infinite Wealth, Star Wars Outlaws, and Tekken 8. Honestly, I feel like it's a toss up between Hades 2 and Rebirth.
It's gonna go to Final Fantasy VII, but I really hate it.
Like, I think there are at least 3 or 4 people in our Discord that are absolutely obsessed with that fucking game.
Hades? Probably. Wait, who else?
Or not obsessed, but they played a lot.
Who else?
Matthew and James, along with you.
Oh fuck, that's right. I forgot about Matthew.
Yeah, Matthew played through it a handful of times too.
Yeah, I
Um,
beat the main campaign and the epilogue. I just need to go back and finish the trophies.
fair enough.
Which includes beating Max Heat. Haha.
Good luck with that.
That.
Good luck.
Or not Max Heat, but the additional I forget what they call it, but it's the one that adds a new boss phase to every boss fight. So
That sounds like fun and enticing.
it's pretty great. It's pretty balanced, pretty fun, pretty easy. Anyway,
Let's see here. Content creator of the year. Iron Mouse. People Make Games. Quackity, Spreen, and Cypher PK. Don't know any of those motherfuckers.
Quackity's not even like a new content. He's been around forever. All he does is troll fucking Roblox forums.
Jesus. Um, let's see here. Best esports game of the year: Counter Strike 2, Dota 2, League of Legends, PUBG Mobile, and Valorant. My guess is either going to be Counter Strike or Valorant.
It's true. League fans don't like League.
That's true. Best esports athlete is going to be going up to Faker, Zywoo, Demon One, Hydra, Ruler, and Imperial Hall. My guess is going to be Faker.
Okay.
Yes. Best
I
esports
know
team.
nothing about that.
It's okay. Um, let's see here. Best esports team going down to Evil Geniuses, Fnatic, Gaming Gladiators, JD Gaming, and Team Vitality. I honestly don't know. I do not know for that one.
Esports means nothing to me. I apologize.
It's okay.
Not
Best
deciding
esports
anything about this
coach, don't
yesterday.
give a fuck. Best esports event is going to be going down to League's World Championship, Blast.tv Paris Major for, I'm assuming, CSGO, Evo 2023, Dota 2 Championships, and Valorant Championships. My guess is either going to be the League or Worlds for League, or Evo. Those are my two. And that seems to be all the categories. So, just for a quick note, I will be putting obviously all the articles that we talked about tonight. They'll be in the description. That includes this one for voting. So keep that in mind. Okay.
Oh yeah.
So then we'll go back to game of the year, and this is where I'll start the league at. So, Loki 2 season 2, or no, Loki season 2 finale pulls in 11.2 million views plus 3% from the opener. Carter, why don't you tell us about that? But
Yeah. Um. So, as I said, Loki season 2 is a fucking bafflingly good piece of Marvel content in what is a fucking sea of mediocrity, to say the least. Um, including its season finale, which we'll talk spoilers here in a little bit. Um, well, I'll give people a chance to ease into that if they want to watch it or if they. Um, Marvel Studios' season 2 finale of Loki went out with a blast, attracting 11.2 million global views over its first 72 hours, which is a plus 3% from the season 2 first episode draw of 10.9 million. Um, which I believe puts it as the only Marvel show that's come out this year that's had a fucking 100% or higher retention rate. Or at least the only one they've talked about enough for us to be able to know that they've had a 100% retention rate. Um, Loki season 2 kickoff was the second most watched season premiere this year on Disney Plus, behind March's season 3 premiere of The Mandalorian. The finale of the Marvel Studios series, which concluded last Thursday as of this article, was only behind the season 3 finale of The Mandalorian, which wrapped up in April. Disney defines a view as total stream time divided by runtime. Deadline's Katie Campione reports a few weeks ago that in Nielsen rankings, Loki Season 2, Episode 1 debuted in the number 6 spot, generating 446 million viewing minutes. For context, the series premiere in June of 2021 released to 731 million its first week, so a little under double. Um, let's see, and this is where it starts to get a little bit into spoilers, so I will give you a 5-second warning if you want to click off of this for the sake of not having the season 2 finale of Loki spoiled for you, because it does have some pretty big implications for what they plan on doing. All right. In the season 2 finale, Loki realizes that the temporal loom will never be able to safely hold all branches of time. In his final moments of the episode, he uses all of his own powers to revive and hold together all the branches of time at the Citadel at the end of time. The season 2 finale also paved the way for the rest of the MCU's multiverse saga, with other Kang the Conqueror variants continuing to exist across various timelines. While Disney Plus saw a high on the Loki finale, the MCU saw its lowest opening ever at the domestic and global box offices, with the Marvels opening to 46.1 million statewide and 109.4 million worldwide.
very nice.
So basically, all that to say, if that was a bunch of gobbledygook for you and you're curious about what that means without having to watch the show, um, Loki is quite literally, officially, being called the God of Stories by the MCU. He is literally, physically holding together all branches of time in the MCU to keep that entire multiverse from collapsing in on itself. Um, he did so solely because it was something that had to be done, and it was something that would give him purpose as a person, as an entity, as a god. Um, so his arc, which started all the way back in the first Thor movie, if you can think that far back, the better times, um, has now been fully realized.
Goddamn.
He is literally holding the multiverse together, um, out of complete selflessness for the people in it. So again, Loki is the best fucking character in the MCU.
He's literally
He is
holding the MCU together right now.
he is. It's not even necessarily that part. It's just like the fact that he like had that moment of like clarity and realized this is what I have to do. It's for the greater good, and just like doing away with his humanity for the sake of like keeping everyone else intact and like keeping everyone that he cares about alive.
True. We respect it, dude. He is now the god of stories, not the god of mischief. Mischief?
It's true. And oh my god, the final shot is so fucking pretty. Because the way he's holding them, the way he's got them like all strung together. He fashioned it to look exactly like the tree of Yggdrasil. It's oh my god, it's such a
Oh,
powerful
that's
fucking ending.
poetic.
It's so fucking good. It's so good. You should absolutely watch Loki season 2.
I may just have to. I think
Loki
we still have
season
Disney
2,
Plus.
Loki season 2, Guardians of the Galaxy 3, Spider-Man No Way Home. Shang-Chi is also pretty decent. Like those, and then Wakanda Forever, Black Panther 2. Those are like the only things that I would say that you should go out of your way to watch, if for nothing else, for pretty decent character closure or pretty fun little one-offs for new characters, depending on which movie.
True.
Multiverse of Madness is also decent. Doctor Strange. But that's 5 examples in a slew of like 20. So, not great.
Not great odds, but you know what? There's a few gems in there.
Not great. And one of them's Loki.
Yep.
It's pretty great. To that point, after all of me gushing about that ending and all of that shit, that almost didn't fucking happen.
I was gonna
In
ask
fact,
if you
episode
wanted to.
5,
Yep, there it is.
yeah, episode 5, which is the second to last episode that sets up everything in that episode, um, was completely different from what ended up actually airing. Um, Let me see. Loki head writer Eric Barton has revealed that Marvel Studios decided to scrap his favorite episode of the Disney Plus series, leaving him to rewrite the penultimate episode in just a single weekend. Loki Season 2 is being hailed as Marvel Studios' greatest TV show by many fans, with some fans going so far as to say it is the best MCU content we've had during the entire post-Endgame saga. I would agree with that. I really would. Both seasons are great. Uh, Eric Martin replaced Michael Waldron as head writer, though he recently revealed he rewrote big chunks of season 1 after Waldron was tasked with working on Doctor Strange: The Multiverse of Madness. The writer is clearly a very special talent, something that's evident from the fact that he had to pen season 2's 5th episode in the space of 1 weekend. This is spoilers for episode 5. Which is, yes, that standout effort with the God of Mischief rounding up his friends before they were plucked out of the sacred timeline by He Who Remains was just dreamed up within the space of a couple of days. Talking to Script Magazine, the Loki writer opened up on that original version of that penultimate chapter being nuked by Marvel Studios. A quote from the interview says, "I think Justin Benson and Aaron Moorhead did just incredible work across episode 5, and that was the one that we were the most intimately involved in together. Our original episode 5 had gotten nuked. The previous version was one that they came on. The previous version was the one that they came on because of it was their favorite episode." Um, okay, that's not a direct quote, clearly. And so then that one got nuked, and we had to come up with something new. There was this mind meld in writing that. That was just something that I had to go write in a weekend. There was no time. We were just in prep, and this thing just needs to be done. I'm just so focused on telling the story and doing it the most emotional way possible and trying to envision some of these things, but really seeing what they did with that final moment where everything is just falling apart for Sylvie in the record shop. What was in my head was quite emotional. But what they did with all of that, with everything slowly creeping, and they finally see Lyle, the record store guy, it just dissolves in her hands. It worked on such a level that I really thought they elevated that scene beyond what I even had in mind. So it's basically just him gushing about what they were able to come up with in a weekend and just the impact that it had um, on the characters in the episode. Um, he was also probed to elaborate on what the original version of the was and why it was being scrapped. Um, all he had to say is that it boiled down to something that the studio wasn't into. However, as great as what we ended up with was, it sounds like we missed on a wild hour of television. Because he did further elaborate, saying it would have been one of the stranger things that the MCU had ever done. It was a big swing. It was a really big conceptual swing, and I think a dramatic scene. When that got nuked, it was funny because that was the thing where people would stop me in the hallways like, "Oh man, I'm so sorry." Like, that was my favorite episode. People were really bummed about it, but again, I think the studio was right. I think what we had was really good. I think really interesting, but it may not have fit within the show the way that this episode did. There was just no time to question it or even mourn it. It was just like, all right, well, whatever. We just have to jump in and do it. Chances are we will never find out what Martin had planned, and it's hard not to wonder whether it might have been a good idea for Marvel Studios to try something off kilter enough to make them nervous. Still, without knowing what was previously in store for this fifth installment, we can't fault what proved to be a brilliant lead into the dropping finale. Um, so basically, what they're saying there is, despite the finale that we got, and it doesn't really say whether or not it ended up affecting the finale that we got, um, but basically, whatever leap the lead writer for Loki season 2 wanted to take was drastic enough that it would have fundamentally, it seems to be the implication anyway, that it would have been drastic enough of a thing that it would have like fundamentally changed the direction they were taking the end.
I like it.
Is
One
how I'm reading that.
For once, a studio pulled the plug on something and it didn't backfire in their face.
Yeah, without really knowing what the original plan was, it's really hard for me to say, but like obviously it worked out well for him in the end. So,
It's beautiful. We love to hear it, dude. I'm just glad that Loki had a good season finale, man.
hell yeah.
We love to see it. I need to see more MCU shit actually do well. I need it.
We'll see. Deadpool 3 is still coming out next year.
True. I have high hopes for that too. Ryan Reynolds is supposed to be directly in charge of it, so
Yeah, we'll see.
we'll see. If it flops, then it's his own fault.
Mm, I don't think so. It's still an MCU movie. Disney still got their hands in the pot.
Fair enough. Um, Moving on to the next segment. Wizards of the Coast is under fire once again. for being accused of using AI art in an MTG ad. Magic the Gathering fans became or claimed to have spotted AI art in now missing tweet from Wizards of the Coast promoting a new Magic the Gathering secret layer. Um, Publisher WotC has seen backlash for allegedly using AI art or in a social media ad for MTG. The Twitter post from the 13th was promoting the newly announced Tomb Raider secret layer, but the tweet appears to have been deleted after multiple fans accused its image of being artificially generated. Oh, um, a new tweet promoting the same secret layer set was shared around 8 hours later. However, its comments section is still filled with accusations about AI. The art on the Tomb Raider MTG cards doesn't appear to be AI generated. Instead, it's background of the promotional image fans took issue with. The scene shows art from the Tomb Raider cards in a retro television as posters on a wall with posters on a wall behind it. According to one fan on Reddit, the image has several telltale signs of computer interference, inconsistent shapes and lighting, as well as missing or mismatching features on the television and table are pointed to as evidence. This isn't the first time the Wizards have been accused of using AI art. In August, fans spotted AI art in Glory of the Giants, a newly published D&D book. WotC released a statement via D&D Beyond shortly after, claiming it was unaware of the use of AI. We are revising our process and updating our artist guidelines to make clear that artists must refrain from using AI art generation as part of their art creation process. Let's see. Artificial intelligence has been an intense topic of conversation in the wider tabletop world. Pathfinder publisher Paizo condemned AI art back in March, and the creator of Gloomhaven told Wargamer that AI art feels like theft. More recently, Backer Kit restricted AI art in the wake of Kickstarter's new policy allowing the transparent use of AI art in crowdfunders. WotC was contacted for comment on the story, but at this time, Wargamer has not received a reply. For more on artificial intelligence, here are the tabletop RPG publishers that think AI art is a Pandora's box that'll never be shut. And for more of the latest Magic the Gathering news, here's what's coming on the next MTG release schedule. Carter, how do you feel about AI art used in advertisements?
Um, it's dumb. Like, you're already paying artists to draw your cards and design your cards. I don't understand why you can't just pay them to run your ad campaigns as well. It makes it more consistent branding. It's just a fucking awful idea for you to ignore those people when it comes to advertising the product that they're already making for you. Also, AI in general is just fucking awful implemented like that in the business world.
That's fair. It honestly doesn't look the best.
There's use for it for sure. There's practical use to be had, but that's not one of them.
But yeah, I agree. It's kind of weird to be so gung ho on using AI for everything, including art, and clearly, most fan bases of most areas of hobbies don't seem to be taking too kindly for it. So it's just like, just hold off on it a little bit, you know? Just it's not necessary. You're telling me you can't make this in fucking Photoshop in like 10 minutes? Come on now, you got this. I believe in you. But honestly, I don't really have much of an opinion on it. I do think it's dumb. It's not too much effort to just make it how you usually do. So, okay, Christ. Um, let's see. Moving on to the next article. Borderlands company Gearbox buys the rights to beloved indie roguelike Risk of Rain, immediately makes a free-to-play mobile gacha game. Let's see here. A new Risk of Rain game is in development. Here comes the enormous bud attached to that news. It's a free-to-play mobile gotcha game in the works at a new studio under the new series or under the series' new owner, Gearbox Publishing. Um, a year ago, almost to the day, Gearbox Publishing officially acquired the Risk of Rain IP from the original developer, Hapu Games, after serving as a publisher on the runaway hit Risk of Rain 2. At the recent 10-year Risk of Rain anniversary blowout, Gearbox announced Risk of Rain Hostile Worlds, a new mobile title in the works at developer Frema Studio, best known for the reasonably well-liked action RPG Disciples Liberation, a mobile spin-off of Forza Street, and contributions to Fortnite's mobile version. Hostile Worlds will be the first Risk of Rain game without Hopu attached. It's an interesting isometric action game explicitly built for Android and iOS devices. Currently in regional testing ahead of a proper global launch. The game's been billed as a four-player hero collector with streamlines Risk of Rain's core gameplay loop: shoot, collect items, kill a boss, repeat, and it marries it to a free-to-play monetization model. Your primary weapon will shoot automatically, for example, while you focus on moving around and firing abilities. Plus, you can play three survivors at once and swap between them on the fly. In co-op, all four players have their own playable squads of three survivors. A Q&A posted to the game's official Discord sheds some more light on how it plays. Um, the biggest question would be, what is the in-game economy like? It's a hero collector type game that encourages fans to mix and match their playstyles with a wide variety of survivors. The post reads, players will be able to collect survivors by playing and using in-game currency. All currency can be earned through playtime without spending money. Players who choose to buy the in-game currency will receive in-game content at an increased pace than they would otherwise through playing. To boil it down, you can spend real money on a currency called SAP, which can then be spent to redeem credits, purchase fragments to unlock survivors, pull for random survivors in Risk of Rain Hostile Worlds. You'll use credits to upgrade your survivor's power level or your ship's facilities, and you can separately acquire lunar coins used to pull for new survivors in a gacha loot box system. You can also earn stat via in-game levels, which credits and lunar coins will come from campaign missions as well as objectives and challenges. How you feel about that, Carter? You excited for a new mobile gacha game, dude?
Not with that IP.
No.
Risk of Rain is great. Um, I've been gushing about it all weekend. They just released a from the ground up remake of the original side scroller one from like 10 years ago. Um, it's phenomenal. They modernized it, they streamlined it. They actually managed to bring a lot of the shit that people liked from the second game over and like demake it for Risk of Rain 1. Um, and it's really cool. Um, and then Risk of Rain 2 is, I don't know, like it said, it was kind of a runaway hit. I was pretty stoked on that when they first revealed it, and feel like I managed to get quite a few people hooked on it over the years. Not to toot my own dick, but
You're already two.
yeah, you know. But yeah, no, it's a great franchise. It's definitely iconic in the two games that it's had. People already they know what it is. They like it. They want more of it. But I don't necessarily approve of a free to play gotcha game, which I don't think is a hot take by any means. But we'll
Yeah.
see. I mean, I'll still give it a chance. It's free to download, so I'll at least scope it out before I mourn the loss of the franchise. Um, in the meantime, I would highly recommend playing either of those games that I mentioned, either Risk of Rain 2 or um, the Risk of Rain 1 remaster, which is called Risk of Rain Returns. Um, those are both still made by the original studio, who they said were not making the mobile game. So if you're worried about quality control, the people that give a shit about it are still behind the stuff that I've mentioned.
Fair enough. Me personally, I would have rather have had a proper third iteration of the game be put on, regular consoles and PC and stuff. But I'll give the free to play or I'll give the mobile version a shot just to see what happens. Worst case scenario, it gets uninstalled in a day. So um, I'm already not necessarily if no, I guess you could consider it that I am a fan of gotcha games just because it's fun to just collect the characters. But um, yeah, I would definitely prefer just to be like a regular game that's ported to a different couple of consoles and or PC, and then if it permits it, maybe then put it in mobile form. Maybe so. So yeah.
Yeah.
Um, Carter, why don't you tell us about how Persona may get a adapt or a movie adaptation?
Okay. Hold, please.
I'm gonna run to the bathroom in the meantime. I'll be back.
Do do do. Yep. So from IGN, both Persona and Yakuza could be adapted into movies, according to Sega. Speaking to CNBC, COO Suji Utsumi said Sega is looking to continue the success of the Sonic the Hedgehog films by growing to the reach of its other franchises too. Utsumi mentioned Persona and Yakuza slash Like a Dragon specifically when talking about other franchises expand, making clear Sega is considering potential different of businesses to bring these IPs to. All these IPs can be somewhere else other than soon. We just revived Sonic in a big way, not only through the games, but through movies and TV shows, and actually Sonic is in Roblox too, Utsumi said. And we're working closely with LEGO now, so Sonic is reviving. We have other major IPs, and I cannot say too much about it, but we're thinking of reviving other classic Sega IPs too. Right now, there are two big IPs other than Sonic. One is Persona, and also our Yakuza titles. Yakuza is really unique, but that big one is also coming next year too. But also, as I say, we are trying to be in a lot of different kinds of business areas like Roblox and movies. All these IPs can be somewhere else other than games soon. Both franchises are certainly going at full speed in the gaming space with Persona 5 Tactica coming out on November 17th, and Like a Dragon Gaiden, The Man Who His Name having launched on November 9th. Each game is also slated to have a major release in 2024, with Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth launching on January 26th, while a remake of the third Persona game, Persona 3 Reload, arrives soon after on February 2nd. Um, basically, expect a lot of movie, TV, film adaptations from Sega going forward. Uh, I don't know too much about Yakuza, but I know it's got a pretty diehard fan base, um, even despite the recent change to become a more traditional turn-based RPG as opposed to, from what I understand, for lack of better phrasing, was just kind of a GTA style open world third person run around do crimes be boss type game. It looks really interesting. I kind of appreciate some of the campiness and just over the top zaniness I've seen from the Yakuza footage and cutscenes that I have seen, and that I don't necessarily hide how I feel about Persona as far as being a franchise goes. I have Tactica, I have not played it yet, but I enjoy those games very much. I don't know how necessary it is to turn them into film adaptations, being that ever since 3 came out, they've done a pretty good job of doing some kind of like anime adaptation, whether it's like a proper anime series or an OVA. Persona 3 has 3 OVA movies. Persona 4 has 2 animes. There's one for the base game, and then one for all the content that they added in the Golden re-release. And both of those are really well done. I thought the Persona 3 movies are pretty well done as well. I know the anime for 5 is not as well received. I've heard some conflicting stuff on that. I haven't watched it yet myself, but I know there's some people saying that it's like a different studio than the people they got for the team behind 4, or that it was rushed out because they weren't expecting to do that before Persona 5 kind of just became the cultural juggernaut that it is. Um, but yeah, we'll see. Again, it's a game. My other fear in doing that, specifically with Persona, is those games are long as fuck. Persona 5 especially, if you are going for 100% completion on a run, depending on how much grinding you do and how much min-maxing you do to get there, you could pull 150 hours on a playthrough.
God damn.
Um, I realize it's not like the full. I realize that they wouldn't have 75 hours of grinding or grinding up character levels in a movie, but still, like the story itself, I can check to see. Let me check and see what the Persona 5 Royal speed run time is right now. The Persona 5 speed run time right now, number one in the world as of 2 years ago when this person hit this time, is 14 hours. So this is a man or a person that clicking through every menu, skipping every dialogue interaction, every cutscene, and they are still the time that they are spending fast forwarding, skipping through all of that shit. They are still breaking the 14-hour mark.
God damn.
Like it is a beefy fucking game to sit there and be like, yeah, we can condense all of that and do a 2-hour movie. So that makes me a little bit nervous. Yakuza, like I said, it's a little more GTA inspired, at least up until last year when they started making the switch, or a couple years ago when they started getting more turn-based RPG with it. But I could see how they loosely adapt that world into like a unique story. I could see how they iterate on that and take the same characters that people love and then just throw them in a slightly different scenario. Um, Persona 5 and the Persona games in general, just being as fucking story driven as they are, I don't think you're doing the fan base a service to take that and take the same approach that I mentioned with the Yakuza games. Like, you have to tell that, so people are going to be there. So, I don't know. We'll see. I'm curious to see what else they have in the pipeline. Like I read in that article, they've got a couple other classic IPs that they are going to be dusting off here in the next year, according to them. I'm curious to see what else they plan on doing with movies. They certainly have a lot of shit that they could make some good movies off of. Not just Sonic or Yakuza or Persona. They also own shit like Jet Set Radio, Shin Megami Tensei, the parent series for Persona, which would be an interesting. I think that would be a lot more interesting. A Persona game, just because it's a lot more. I don't know. It's a lot edgier. I guess they could kind of mold that a little differently.
We all love
I
edginess, dude.
just I don't know. I just it'd be a lot easier to tell a unique story in that universe. But
Especially in the shorter time frame that this movie would have compared to, like you said, the amount of playtime you can put into a Persona game.
yeah, and I'm not saying that's not the case for SMT because like God knows it's a JRPG. So I yeah I don't know. I'd be curious to see how that shakes out the next few years.
Fair enough.
So
Um, but yeah, it's good stuff. Um, oh hey, look at that. We got some Witcher 3 news, dude. You ready to talk about that? I am. So,
okay.
CD Project Red is releasing an official mod editor for Witcher 3 Wild Hunt next year, meaning fans will soon be able to create their own custom content based on the beloved role playing game's pre existing assets. Um, the Witcher Twitter account revealed the news below, saying it's thrilled to reveal CD Projekt is working on the mod editor, which will be released free sometime next year. The mod editor will likely breathe further life into Witcher 3, which received a PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X update in December of last year, but otherwise won't be receiving any new official content as CD Projekt focuses on its wealth of other incoming projects. CD Projekt confirmed in a follow-up post on Twitter saying that the mod editor will only be coming to PC, despite fellow RPG maker Bethesda bringing mod support to console through the likes of Skyrim. But as the developer continues to support The Witcher 3 9 years after its release, it might consider console support at some point in the future. The new wave of mods will perhaps tide fans over until the highly anticipated next Witcher game launches, though this won't be until 2025 at the absolute earliest. There are two other games in the franchise on the horizon too: the remake of the original Witcher, and a multiplayer spinoff. Though both are still likely years away. So, me personally, that's awesome that they're giving mod support to Witcher because I'm sure there's a lot of degenerates that want to do that. Um, I can't see anything wrong with it because it's a single player game and it keeps the game slash the series alive just like it has with Skyrim. Granted, it may bite them in the ass a little bit that they aren't releasing the mod editor for consoles as well, but like they said, it could be that it's just going to be delayed right now. How you feel about that, Carter?
It's cool. I don't have enough of an attachment to that game to be stoked about it, but I know a lot of people that do, and it'll be cool to see what fresh hell the mod makers can make, knowing that they are being officially supported by CDPR.
Fair enough.
Honestly, I could see it being another Skyrim level situation where people just see fit to start remaking the other games in that game.
Yeah. I honestly forgot that they were remaking the first Witcher, and I've never
Yeah, it was
played it.
part of that whole. Well, no one fucking. That's the whole point. Is no one fucking played the first two Witcher games.
I did play the second one. I just didn't pay any attention to the fucking story whatsoever.
I mean, you may as well have not played it then.
Quite true. But I did play through it. So,
Huh.
are you excited, Carter? Is this going to give you the final oomph you need to play through the Witcher game?
Probably not. My backlog's too big after this year.
Fair enough. I thought I'd ask anyways.
Yeah, I've tried getting into it a few times and it just hasn't clicked for me.
Fair enough. It's not going to hit with everybody. That's his fair.
I
That's his fair.
suppose.
But yeah, no, that's pretty cool, and I'm glad that they're finding new ways to mix it up a little bit. It's cool. It's cool. Moving on to some more Marvel or slash MCU news. Destin Daniel Cretton departs as director on Avengers: The Kang Dynasty, remains aboard Wonder Man, Shang-Chi 2, and more in the MCU. Deadline hears that filmmaker Destin Cretton has decided to step away as director for Avengers: King Dynasty to focus on his other Marvel projects. As this is an amicable exit, I understand, as Cretton remains fully in the Marvel Studios family. In fact, Cretton is in talks with Marvel Studios about directing future movies. Um, Note that King Dynasty is far on the theatrical release schedule, dated to kick off summer on May 1st, 2026. The movie will precede Secret Wars on May 7th of the following year, which will wrap up the MCU's Phase 6 features. Creighton is currently busy on the Marvel Studios / Disney Plus series Wonder Man, which he co-created with Andrew Guest, who serves as a showrunner. Creighton EPs the series and also directed the first two episodes. The series resumed shooting after Thanksgiving. Wonder Man will be under the new Marvel Spotlight series banner, which are shows that are standalone series and not part of the greater MCU. The filmmaker is also currently working on the sequel to the 432 million plus global grossing hit he directed, Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings. That movie is the highest grossing AAPI superhero movie ever, and it also owns the record opening over the 4-day Labor Day weekend, holiday weekend, with 94.6 million statewide, or stateside, sorry. In 2021, following the success of Shang-Chi, Creighton signed an overall deal with Marvel Studios and Hulu's Onyx Collective. Creighton is an EP on the hit Disney Plus series American Born Chinese, which he also directed 2 episodes of. Creighton blasted off with the 2013 indie movie Short Term 12, which also propelled Brie Larson before she won the Best Actress Oscar for Room and went on to star in the $1.1 billion grossing Captain Marvel. In addition, Rami Malek starred in Short Term 12 as well before winning Best Actor Oscar for Bohemian Rhapsody and Best Actor Drama Series Emmy for Mr. Robot. Creighton also directed Jamie Foxx, Michael B. Jordan legal drama Just Mercy about world-renowned civil rights defense attorney Bryan Stevenson. So, Carter, do you think it's a negative or an okay thing that he departed from King Dynasty?
Time will fucking tell. I think it's kind of gonna depend on how the old MCU ends up shaking up. Which there's some shit about that is up in the air right now as well.
I see.
Um, it may be likely that we don't even get a movie called The Dynasty with the turn that some shit's taken
Uh-oh.
or will take.
Well, that's no bueno.
So, with that whole Jonathan Majors legal battle going to trial soon, um, it kind of felt like a lot of people are kind of starting to feel, and apparently there are some pretty well substantiated reports that they are slowly shifting away from Jonathan Majors in the MCU.
Well, that's unfortunate.
Um, and in doing that, also Kang.
That'd be wild. They just
Um,
say, yeah, no, we're just gonna pretend like King Dynasty doesn't even exist anymore. Standalone movie,
that's
Quantumania.
well, I mean, he's been in Loki.
Loki's also standalone. Doesn't count, dude.
Yeah, but basically, the current rumor mill suggests that they are getting rid of him and slowly moving Doctor into the limelight
Doctor Who.
as the Doctor Doom
Oh, okay.
as the next Thanos level event.
That would make sense, considering that he's a pretty big part of Secret Wars, anyways.
It would actually make a lot more sense than Kang, ironically enough.
I thought they were co-conspirators
But
on that, or was it him and the
no,
outsider?
Doctor Doom. No, it's like the outsider. Fucking Doctor Doom beats the shit out of Kang every opportunity he gets. They fucking hate each other, dude.
That's funny. They got a little mutual hatred going on there.
So, which to that end, they're supposed to be within the next few weeks. They are supposed to be announcing the MCU Fantastic Forecast. So
I did hear about that. I saw a meme about it with
apparently,
Pedro someone.
Pedro
Like
Pascal.
there we go, Pedro Pascal. They just photoshopped his face on every single member of the Fantastic
Yeah,
Four.
well, apparently he is Mr. Fantastic, you know.
How do you feel about that?
I think he'd be good. I'm glad the dude's getting work. He deserves it. I just don't know that he needs to be on everything.
You don't like them
He's
forcing
kind
a
of been.
single actor down your throat at every given
I mean,
opportunity?
it's not even that they're forcing. It's absolutely not like fucking Dwayne the Rock Johnson levels where they're just like he's literally in everything. But like I don't know, man. You know, like he's in the Mandalorian. He's in the. He's kind of set.
It's
Like I'd be
true.
okay. I'd be okay if he was taking a break for a little while. I think the part that upsets me the most about that, the fact that he's also apparently not coming back for the next season of Mandalorian,
That'd be unfortunate.
is the other part of that rumor, and it's just like, why? Like
Yeah,
it's
he
okay
does a
to
good
do one
job.
thing. You're like in literally the only Star Wars thing that people have liked in the last 10 years. Like just do that.
Yeah, but he's getting bored, dude.
Okay, he was in Game of Thrones too, wasn't
Yeah, he
he? If you
was.
haven't watched Game of Thrones, I apologize.
He was in one of the last actually good seasons too.
So that was ignorance on my part. I have not watched Game of Thrones. I just remember that he was. But yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like he's fucking he doesn't need to be he doesn't need to do that too.
I mean, I guess.
We'll see. Like I'm sure he'll probably end up being the pick. I'm sure he'll do fine. But I like the Fantastic Four is one movie they cannot afford to fuck up
Yeah,
at all.
they fucked up Fantastic Four a little bit too much.
I mean, like not even necessarily because of that, but like if they're gonna go in with all of these fucking the Fox people, all the mutants, all the X-Men, um, they cannot fuck up Fantastic Four. I would also probably go as far as to say they can't fuck up Deadpool.
Sets up a lot of stuff, man. They need people to stay in or stay focused on it, on the timeline. God damn it! Do the good things, not the bad things. Um,
Yeah.
let's see. Moving on to the second part that you kind of hinted at. Marvel moving away from Kang, Quantumania writer off Avengers 5 report. Why don't you go ahead and tell us about that, Carter? What the fuck's going on, man?
Yep. So I think this might just be the same thing that was reiterated, or that was said in the last article. I might just be iterating. The Kang Dynasty may be over at Marvel Studios, according to Vanity Fair reporter and the MCU, The Reign of Marvel Studios co-author Joanna Robinson on the House of R podcast. Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania screenwriter Jeff Loveness is no longer working for Marvel or attached to pen the fifth Avengers movie titled Kang Dynasty. So they have also lost the writer for this movie. Like he is just done with Marvel. Robinson reported that Loveness is off the project because Marvel is likely moving away from the Kang storyline that threaded both seasons of the Disney Plus series Loki, the Ant-Man threequel, and future installments in the multiverse saga, including Kang Dynasty and the phase-ending Avengers Secret Wars. Quantumania launched Phase 5 of the MCU and introduced Jonathan Majors as Kang the Conqueror as a multiversal variant of He Who Remains, also played by Majors, who reigned over the timelines in Loki. Spoiler alert for season 2 of Loki. It ended with Tom Hiddleston's Loki replacing He Who Remains at the end of time, only to then weave together the branched timelines and preserve the infinitely scaling multiverse. With the Time Variance Authority freed from the control of He Who Remains, TVA agent Mobius M. Mobius, played by Owen Wilson, and Hunter B-15, played by Wunmi Mosaku, began tracking down He Who Remains variants. The Loki finale references Kang and the events of Quantumania when Mobius mentions that one variant, Kang, caused a bit of mayhem and ruckus on the 616 adjacent realm, but it was handled. Excuse me. Variety previously reported that the most pressing issue at a recent studio retreat was Majors' assault trial. Because Majors' Kang has been positioned as the new Thanos threat, Marvel has been forced to reconsider its plans to the next phase has been forced to reconsider its plans to center the next phase of the MCU on the character and reportedly considering recasting Majors or pivoting to another major Marvel villain entirely, Doctor Doom. Executive producer of Loki, Kevin Wright, said no, nothing has affected our finale. When asked about reports, Marvel was reconfiguring its plans for Kang. The story that is on the screen is the one that we set out to make, remarkably so. No one was coming down telling us we had to connect it or set up anything for the future. It was sort of like finish our story that was started. As far as where it's all going, I can't say, not because I'm being coy, but because I'm not a part of those projects. Loki Season 1 and Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness writer Michael Waldron was tapped to write Avengers Secret Wars, which will conclude Phase 6 of the MCU and the Multiverse saga. Both seasons warn that the variants of He Who Remains will unleash a reality-destroying multiversal war if left unchecked. I know Michael Waldron is working on them, and he loves this world of Loki as he helped create it. The threat that we establish at the end of the Loki finale is the multiversal war will come, Wright said. Sylvia saying, let us have a chance, so I hope that people will continue to run with that because I would love to see what that story is. Additionally, this is as good a place to mention it as any, Disney recently reshuffled its MCU slate, delaying Deadpool from May to July of 2024, Captain America Brave New World from July 2024 to February 2025, Thunderbolts from December 2024 to July of 2025, and the Blade reboot from February 2025 to November 2025. Originally dated for May 2nd of 2025 and November 7th of 2025, the Kang Dynasty and Secret Wars are currently dated for May 1st, 2026 and May 7th, 2027, respectively.
Shoosh.
From what they are saying, that doesn't necessarily have anything to do with the quality issues or anything that they bring up in this article. It is more so all of the SAG after strikes, which have now ended, in the favor of the Actors Guild and the Writers Guild. So, huge win for everyone involved there. But yeah, there is a huge slate push for the entire MCU as a whole, and it really doesn't give a lot of hope for the rumors that they may or may not be stepping away from Kang and Jonathan Majors.
I see. I see.
So,
Well, I'm definitely looking. I've heard interesting things about the Blade reboot. I've heard that it's almost gotten canceled a handful of times.
not
Because
only has it almost gotten canceled, Mahasha Ali, or excuse me, oh my God, Mar, I fucking get his name wrong every time, and I always feel bad about it. Mahershala Ali, thank you. Almost walked away from it a few times because they kept fucking up like the script and the plot and everything.
yep, I did hear about that. So and then I also heard that they almost went with like a female lead, I guess, instead for the movie.
Yeah, so not necessarily a female lead, but they still wanted him to be Blade, and then they were going to move him to like third billing as far as like important characters for the movie. So he wasn't even going to be the own main character.
See, no, I don't want that for a Blade debut. I don't want that at all.
Yeah,
Um,
neither did he because he almost walked out.
damn straight, I would too. I'd be like, bro, I'm supposed to be the main character. How the fuck you gonna say, nah, we want a female lead instead? That don't make no damn sense.
Mm-mm.
I did hear, however, that it's supposed to be rated R, so that's pretty cool.
Yes, it is. It is currently slated to be the second rated R MCU project after Deadpool.
Thank fucking God. You cannot do a good Blade movie without it being rated R, dude. It has to be rated R.
Correct.
Thunderbolts could be interesting. I don't really know much about that team except for it has Ross in it, and
Yeah, it's kind of Marvel's take on the Suicide Squad.
oh yeah, because it's a bunch of death row inmates, isn't it?
Well, not necessarily Death Row inmates, but it's a bunch of supervillains that band together to basically play cleanup crew.
I see, I see, I see. So they got a couple solid things in the lineup here, but it'll matter how they execute it. That's what matters, and I need them to do it very well. At least Blade.
Same.
Everything else in Phase 6 can blow up for all I care. I just care about Blade.
Uh, Blade, the Fantastic Four, and Deadpool are the ones
Oh
that
shit,
are
sorry. I forgot about
being good.
Deadpool too. I'm sorry, but after how many botched fucking renditions of the Fantastic Four we've seen, I'm just kind of like over it.
Yeah, and I get that, but like this is no example thing to be like, oh, I hope it's really good. Like for what they are trying to do and how integral Kang to the Fantastic Four and Doctor Doom is to Secret War, like they cannot fuck up the Fantastic Four movie.
They best get it right then, because otherwise
Like
they ain't gonna be no seasons or Phase 6 finale.
Kang is literally like Reed Richards' grandson.
Oh yeah, that is true, huh? I forgot about
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
God damn, that's crazy. That's crazy. All right. Um, but other than that, there wasn't really anything else I want to talk about, I guess, except for this leaked listing for Last of Us Part 2 Remastered.
Oh yeah. They ended up officially confirming that as a result of that article. So Um, in case anyone was curious, the worst kept secret since The Last of Us Part 1 remake, um, Naughty Dog is coming out with a remake of Part 2 for PS5. Comes out
Yay!
in
In January, what?
let me make sure I don't fuck that up. Yep, January 2024. Um, it will be a $10 upgrade if you already own the PS4 version, so that's fine. They're not charging you a full 70 because they couldn't get away with that again. Um, so the Naughty Dog officially tweeted out after that leak was posted to confirm its existence. Last of Us Part 2 Remastered comes to PS5 January 19th, including a no return roguelike mode, lost levels with developer commentary, guitar free play, so like the little guitar mini game that they have in a few spots, um, graphical enhancements, DualSense integration, and more. Notably, those who have already Last of Us Part 2 on PS4 will be able to upgrade to a digital version on PS5 for $10. Save files will also be able to be imported into the Part 2 remastered. However, Naughty Dog clarified that the upgrades for disc copies of the PS4 are only available if you have a PS5 with a disc drive. Owners of the PS4 disc copies must insert them into the PS5 every single time they want to download or play the PS5 version. That's pretty typical with how that works. There is currently no mention of a PC remaster. As far as the roguelike goes, it is a survival mode called No Return. In this mode, players can choose their own path through a series of randomized encounters with different enemies and locations featured throughout the story. Players must fight and survive for as long as they can to reach bosses. There will also be unlockable characters in this mode, some of which were never playable in the franchise and possess unique gameplay traits.
Now, see, now
Additionally, there
that
will be
sounds
a
pretty
new.
interesting.
Yeah, we'll see. It's the part that piqued my interest the most. Um, Additionally, there's a new speedrun mode for players to try and best each other's times in, and a new feature called Guitar Free Play, which, like I said, the players can unlock instruments. There will also be new unlockable characters and weapon skins for both Ellie and Abby, as well as behind the scenes. Lost Levels, for example, lets players explore early development versions of 3 new levels not seen in the original PS4 game. The remaster will also output in 4K. Will output 4K in fidelity mode, meaning it'll have 4K 60 frames as a graphics option, and have faster load times as well as full DualSense integration.
Very nice.
So,
Yeah, I wasn't really like all too fond about part two. But the roguelike survival mode sounds pretty interesting.
we will see.
Mm-hmm. But and also the guitar free play. But I'm also a person that really likes the guitar. That's probably my favorite instrument. So sounds interesting to me, but it's not enough to make me actually want to buy the fucking game. But we'll see. We shall see. But yeah, those are the articles that I want to talk about. Do you have anything else, Carter?
Not right now.
No, right now. Okay.
No, I'm good.
All right. Then I think we'll go ahead and close out this episode. Thanks so much for tuning in and stopping by, guys. If you did enjoy tonight's episode, make sure to leave a like, follow the socials, follow the Twitch channels so you know when we go live. I believe Markov has some sort of stream event coming along here soon.
Yes. Let me check my calendar to make sure. It'll be a little ways away, so we'll plug it a couple more times before that happens. I'm also losing my. December 18th, which will be a month from today, the recording date. December 18th, my current plan is to come back with an Elden Ring stream to fight everyone's favorite boss, or least favorite boss, depending on which side you're on.
True.
Um, so that'll be my big hoorah and my sorry I was gone for so long as make myself suffer.
Yep. For probably at least 6 hours. It'll be fantastic.
Oh yeah, no, I will predict right now we are not killing her first stream back. A, because I haven't played Elden Ring in a few months, so I'll need to get my sea legs back. And B, because Melania is a fucking bitch.
True. Other
But
than
we're gonna do
that,
it because I want to do it, and it's it's what the people deserve.
that's fair. They deserve to see you suffer for being gone for so long, Carter.
That's what I'm saying.
You know? Other than that, make sure to join the Discord. That way you guys can see all the hilarious memes and all that other bullshit that we peruse on the daily basis. Um, but yeah, that's all I got for plugs. We'll go ahead and end it here. Y'all have a great night.